What's the deal with Bitcoin halving? In this material, you will learn everything about it, including the impact of halving on the price of BTC. Crypto Explain, all you need to know to stay safe. What is halving and what does it involve? Let's start with a brief introduction. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency operating on proof-of-work technology, meaning that its creation utilizes the computational power of specialized computers that solve complex mathematical problems. Individuals who provide such computational power are called miners, and in return, they receive rewards in the form of newly created bitcoins, with the whole process referred to as mining. Bitcoin is a distributed and decentralized database of information concerning transactions, account balances, and all other operations performed within the network. All this information is recorded in real time in a so-called block, which contains space for 1 megabyte of data. When the entire memory is filled, another new element of the continuous chain is created, permanently linked to the previous one, and will be linked to subsequent ones in the future. Hence, the entire network is called a blockchain, because visually, this whole process resembles the formation of a chain. A reward in the form of new bitcoins is provided for the creation of each of these elements, which are distributed among miners proportionally to their computational power usage. Currently, for each block, miners receive a total of 6.25 bitcoins as a reward for their involvement in network development, as it is one of the significant elements through which Bitcoin has achieved its current status. The idea of reducing the reward with the number of mined blocks is something that translates directly into the quantity of bitcoins in circulation. Considering that some BTC have been sent to the wrong address, or their owners have simply lost their seed passwords and do not have access to their wallets, leading to those coins being effectively lost, the total amount of Bitcoin in circulation is gradually decreasing. Initially, this reward was as high as 50 bitcoins and was halved during the first halving event, which occurred on November 28, 2012. Then, for nearly 4 years, each block generated 25 new coins in circulation until the next such event, which took place on July 9, 2016. Similarly to previous situations, the reward halved again for a period of about 4 years until May 2020, when it decreased again to 6.25 coins, and this situation remains unchanged until today. We are now anticipating another halving event. The timing of this event is estimated to be around April 2024, and we can track it through various platforms dedicated to monitoring blocks. Currently, you can see a countdown on the Coinbase Exchange website, and similar clocks can be found on CoinMarketCap and Binance. The date displayed on the screen is approximate and may ultimately vary slightly from the final date due to the pace of block mining, which sometimes accelerates or slows down. Therefore, it is worth monitoring any changes here because, as we know, halving has always had a significant impact on the price of Bitcoin, and that is what we will focus on now. CoinGecko prepared a very interesting article about the historical impact of Bitcoin halving on its valuation. I'll enlarge the chart a bit so we can analyze all the data. You can now see the price change chart from the beginning of 2010 until the end of 2022. The first halving took place at the point marked by a red arrow. In the year leading up to this event and the year following it, there is a clear tendency of value accumulation, culminating in a new all-time high at the level of $1,000, which was an incredibly unimaginable value at that time. From a price of a few dollars per unit, the value soared to a 4-digit figure, a growth that is unheard of in any of the traditional investment markets. This event brought Bitcoin its first significant publicity, reaching newspapers and television because everyone was curious about what was happening, what Bitcoin was, and how its value could rise so rapidly and strongly. Then, when all the excitement subsided, it was time for a correction and declines, which lasted for roughly 2 years until about a year before the next halving, where we can see a clear tendency for increases, just like in the previous case. July 2016 and the subsequent reduction in rewards led to another bull market, which skyrocketed the price from $300 to $20,000. Again, it was a period during which people wondered how a digital virtual currency could surpass such valuation thresholds, which no one expected at the beginning. Just like in the previous case, there were articles in newspapers, TV reports, and everyone was excitedly speculating about astronomical valuations in the future. The peak around 20,000 ended the bull market, and for roughly 2 years, bears dominated the market. Analyzing the data in subsequent years, once again, we can notice that in the period of about a year before the next, this time the third halving, and for about a year after it, we observed a period of green bars, which caused Bitcoin valuations to change from around $4,000 to almost $60,000 by the end of 2021. For the third time in a row, the same principle worked, which the entire market has been consistently following since the inception of BTC. The question is, how will this look in the case of the next halving, which will happen shortly? The chart visible on the screen does not cover the recent period, so we will switch the view to Trading View. At this point, I marked the previous halving from 2020 and an approximate level of price peaks. Regardless of whether we consider a double peak, it can be assumed that it was around 60,000. The next arrow shows the halving that will take place in April 2024, and once again, for a year, we can observe a systematic increase in value, exactly as in the 3 previous situations. But what will happen next? The entire cryptocurrency community expects history to repeat itself, but will it really? Remember that retrospective analysis is always effective, and just because a situation like this has repeated 3 times does not necessarily mean it will happen for the 4th time. Of course, it may happen, and I sincerely hope it will, but we should not forget that this is still the market, which operates by its own rules, is unpredictable, and anything can happen. If we were to achieve new all-time highs again and the price were to skyrocket, everyone would certainly be pleased because it's another time when you can find a huge number of great investment opportunities from which we can undoubtedly reap really good profits. However, this is still speculation, and as long as we don't see the right side of the chart, absolutely anything can happen. Just as well, Satoshi Nakamoto could transfer his million bitcoins to an exchange and sell them next week because roughly that amount is sitting in one of his wallets, which has remained untouched for many years. This is an unlikely scenario, but such events can always occur, especially since we lack many pieces of information to completely rule out such a possibility. I mention this scenario so that you don't consider anything as certain because certainty should never be assumed in the market. By preparing for every possibility, you'll be one step ahead of others who haven't done so, allowing you to emerge as a winner regardless of whether the outcome turns out positively or negatively. Please remember that this is my personal opinion and not investment advice. You must always analyze the risks and make decisions entirely on your own, taking full responsibility for them. If you are looking for a complete cryptocurrency training, check out my crypto guide on Udemy. The link is below this video. If you like my material, please leave a thumbs up.